Hi, everybody, and welcome back to I Dare You. There's been a lot of mutterings in the last few weeks, or ever since the $550 COVID supplement for people on welfare benefits other than the disability support pension, the carers payment, and aged care came about. And a lot of this talk has been, particularly governments have said it, and there's an awful lot of muttering in social media about the fact that people with disabilities and their carers should not get extra money because they're already getting paid enough money to live on, and therefore, and a lot more than the dole, and therefore they're not entitled to any more. And look, I agree with that. I don't think there's a them or us with this at all. I think that what was being paid to people that were on unemployment benefits was an absolute disgrace to our country, and we should hang ourselves heads in shame. But that's just my personal opinion, and I shouldn't say that here. But what I don't agree with is daring to compare or daring to say that families and people who have a disability already get enough money, and therefore comparing that people who have disability in their families are apples for apples. And if we were not having to pay extra because of the fact that we have a disability, I would agree. But when you start to look at some of the hidden costs of living with a disability or being a part of a family who has a loved one with a disability, I completely disagree with this. I have two children. One has a disability, one doesn't. And I can promise you, and it's only because of my daughter's disability, she costs way, way more and has always, her needs have been always higher in cost than my mainstream daughter or my daughter who doesn't have disabilities costs were. For example, because of my daughter's disability, nothing else, just because of my daughter's disability, she cannot fit into any clothes whatsoever that are bought off the rack. Anything bought off the rack must always be adjusted. And I'm not a seamstress and I work, so I have to pay another 20, 30, 50, depending on how much it costs to get them altered. That most people or people in mainstream will find something that fits kind of. No clothes fit my daughter without them being altered. Shoes. My daughter's feet are so odd, and it's because of her disability, that no shoes can be bought off the rack for her. Nada, nil, none. All of her shoes have to be custom made. Therefore, every time we buy a pair of shoes, we sit on about $300 odd. And we have copious, even, oh my goodness, even masks. These masks that, are around because of COVID. They don't stay on her ears because her ears are made differently, and therefore they don't work either. There are food allergies due to her disability. There is the medications that, yeah, she gets some on PBI, but not all. We've got one that's a $250 a month one. That's not on PBI. And I get it. There are people who don't have disabilities that have these issues. But everybody who has it, or no, most people who have a disability have added costs. That just goes with the territory, and it's the costs that you don't see. And you assume that the people with disabilities and their families have exactly the same costs as mainstream and as people who don't have a disability, and that is so, so wrong. I've only just given one or two examples in our little family. I am sure there are multitudes of people out there who could give multitudes of examples of how just daily living costs so much more. The things people take for granted as being a reasonable cost cost so much more when you have a disability or when you're a family member of a person with disability. So I'm going to say to you people, just stop it. Stop it. Stop comparing apples with oranges and stop saying that people with disability don't deserve to get a supplement because they already get higher money, but forgetting that they already have also higher costs with nearly everything in their life. I am tired of this assumption that people with disabilities are just like everybody else, but with the word disability attached. That is not at all correct. So let's go back to saying, you know what, let's look after our most vulnerable. Let's help them out. They already do life tough. They're already living below the poverty line. Okay, they're not living as lower below the poverty line as people who are on unemployment benefits, but trust me, they're living below the poverty line. So let's get to be a decent country and give people with disabilities and their families and the aged, give them a break. Honestly, we shouldn't be this mean-spirited in Australia. Okay, that's my little rant for the week. Have a good one. Bye.